Hello, and welcome to the first ever B&S talk show.
Welcome, welcome.
I'm Saul,
I'm in. Go
and
figure.
we decided, you know what? We needed a place to speak our minds and to have fun, spend a little more time doing the things we love. So,
True.
Ben and I hope that you're willing to join us in this little adventure.
Oh yeah, just come join us, shoot the breeze, chat with the boys, you know. And really, the whole thing. I'm like, because we talk a lot. We're friends. At least I like to think so.
Yeah,
And we've known each other for quite a while. And so there are times when we talk about stupid stuff. You know, like I've been really thinking about which cheese is better. I don't know.
depends on what you're making.
But then I don't. I honestly don't. I like cheddar, or like, but see, but cheddar. There are so many subsections of cheddar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, let's see. That's what I'm talking about. But but there are also times when we talk about things that are a little more serious. Um, and we talk about aspects of politics, and we just life in general, and so we kind of wanted to just share that with you guys. If anything, I mean, it's just a way for us to have some fun. Um, kind of get to know the world around us, and you know, mostly just have fun. I think that the have fun is most important.
Yeah,
Um,
because we all have different interests, and I think one of the other things is that we really want to show America that there's a gray area in everything that you do in life. People are going to love what you do. People are not going to like what you do. People are
yeah,
going to be like, man, that's fine with what you do. So, it is what it is. But the honest truth is that we all have the right to do what we love.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that's true. I think there are some things that get talked about way more than it needs to be, and then there are some things that get talked about not enough.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to kind of bring that to to the forefront. A big thing that um, kind of propelled the idea was we found a quote from President Kennedy, and he just talked about that. So really the quote is, let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democrat answer, but the right answer. Let us not seek to fix the blame for the past, but let us accept our responsibility for the future. Now, for that, at least for us, we thought that, we're the citizens, we make the change, we're the ones that come up with the solutions, we're the ones in charge. And so there are some things that should be talked about and that aren't. And there are some things that shouldn't be talked about because it just doesn't matter, but are. And it's
Yeah.
coming to the point where, I mean, the smallest majority of the people are ruling over a vast majority of the people, which is just ridiculous. I mean,
And that's something
it's
that
just getting out of control.
we
Yeah.
actually might just talk about today. Like, we might get there today. We may or may not.
Nope. We may.
We'll see what
But
happens.
we also want to do some fun stuff because I
Yes.
mean we didn't want to be serious all the time.
I mean, like,
That's
what
just
are some of your interests?
well, mostly I mean like for me like some things I do. Um, I work in IT. I got my hacking shirt on today. Um, yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Hacking.
Hacking is a weird word.
It's a weird word.
I think it's weirder than what's the one moist. Everybody like, oh my gosh,
I don't
moist.
understand why. Yeah, why the aversion to moist?
I love a
I've
moist
never
cake. I
understood that.
mean, come on.
Moist, right? Do we call it a moist cake,
Oh,
or is it just a rich cake?
people go as far as saying it's a better than sex cake, and I'm like, nah, bro, nah,
That,
nah. I'm a married man.
yeah, that doesn't make any sense, man.
That don't make no sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But again, like we were saying, it's just not going to be as serious as it's just not going to be as serious as politics all the time. So we want to talk about food. We want to talk about the life, our life, the world, just every facet. We just want to have a good time chatting. And really, if you guys have any ideas, leave us some ideas, some stuff you want to talk about, some stuff you want to hear, um,
Yeah,
anything you want to know about us.
and a
We're
little
open
bit
to
on that.
questions.
If
Yeah.
you throw a comment out there that's just like, "Oh, you guys are the worst. Oh, you guys are. I can't believe you talked about this like this." You know what's gonna happen? I'm just gonna mosey on past it. So don't waste your breath. If you want to
Yeah.
be, if you want to like, if you like, hey, I do not agree with you because of these things. I'm probably gonna read it. You know, I'm gonna have the time of day to read all those things. But
Oh yeah. If you're having
don't
a
be that person.
conversation,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Don't be that person that's just like, you're wrong because honestly, you probably don't actually know.
right.
And
I
I
mean,
don't
it's
know either. That's why I'm here talking about it because I want a full perspective on situations, a full perspective. Like, you know what? I think Gruyere
right.
cheese is the best cheese in mac and cheese. Everybody's gonna be like, "You're weird,
Gruyere cheese? You're ridiculous.
dude. It's perfect." Anyways, like we'll get to that later. We'll get to that
We
another
will.
time.
We will.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're really big into cheese, apparently. Like Gruyere cheese. Okay. Anyway, see, we can go off, but smoked Gouda. I think smoked Gouda. Anyway, see, that's what I'm talking about. We like this is a show of like ADHD. I don't know, like
Smoked Gouda. Smoked Gouda. Hang on a second. Smoked Gouda is a cracker cheese. It belongs
whoa.
on a cracker.
See, that's just racist. That's just that,
Hey man, there's brown crackers out there, okay? And there's
that's
white
true.
crackers and there's gold crackers. There's all kinds of crackers out there.
We're all yeah,
I mean,
we're all
there's like a
crackers.
blue tortilla chip. Smoked Gouda on a blue tortilla corn tortilla chip. Mm.
Is it really?
Have you seen blue corn tortilla chips?
No, no, I've seen it.
It's good.
I've tasted them. I don't know if I've. I mean, towards okay.
Whenever I think of something
I think
smoked,
they're
though, I think of
freaky.
the Southwest, but that's just me.
Oh, okay.
It might also turn your poop blue, but we're not going to talk about that.
Sure. But yeah, overall, if you have any ideas, if you want to have a conversation, if you want to, bring it to us, we're more than happy to talk about it. But if you're gonna just be a douchebag, we're not fans. No one is. No one wants to do that. Don't bring it to
Everybody
us.
in the time of 2020, 2020 is a weird year. Everybody's talking about the boss they're going to see in
Right?
December, and that we need to yell Jumanji on
Yeah,
New
it's
Year's
Jumanji.
Eve, which I kind of understand. But you know, it's just everybody just needs some happiness right now. Everybody needs
True.
some understanding and some patience with one another. So let's do
That
that.
that's the biggest thing because there are times when I see stuff and it's just so discouraging.
But the world is a
You
good
just look.
place.
It
It's
really
hard to
is.
see because some of the darker voices are a lot louder. But the world really is a good
Yeah.
place.
Well, like one thing that a friend of mine talked about was because I always thought, I mean, there's got to be a way to compromise. There's got to be a way to see things where yes, you're right, and yes, you're right, because a lot of times that's how it is. You know,
Yeah.
are all policemen bad? No.
Oh, the thing is
Are
that
some policemen bad? Yeah. So
yeah,
what can we do to fix that?
yeah,
That's the
and
big thing though, is
it's
no one's talking
interesting.
about how to fix it.
Somebody talked about this. There's something called like a horseshoe theory or something.
Oh, I don't know.
The further you get apart from each other, in like a view, you're actually trying to fight for the same thing, and you're coming back towards the middle. You just don't realize it because you're so far apart. I gotta look it up. We'll talk about that in another show. I'll
Yeah,
share
yeah, I
that.
like it. Yeah. As you can see, Saul is the one that tried to keep us on track because I'm ridiculous.
I can't get off the freaking Gruyere thing. That upsets you.
But yeah, anyway, so a little bit about us, or I should say a little bit about me specifically. Uh, like I said, my name is Ben. Um, I actually am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter day Saints. So just throwing that out there. It will be, I mean, it obviously influences my view on things. So I'd like to hear other people's views. That's why we started this whole thing in the first place, just to have a conversation. I served a mission for my church, in the Idaho Pocatello Mission. What? Um, and then I also later in life, which seems like not an eternity ago. It seems like it took a while, an eternity to get there. But so I graduated from BYU Idaho with a bachelor's in general studies, but with an emphasis in political science. So I like to think that I know what I'm talking about, every so often. I also have a certification in information technology. So again, when it comes to that, I like to think I know what I'm talking about. And as I mentioned before, this is that's where I work now. As I work for a company that does IT for several colleges. Um, so it's been fun. It's been real. Hasn't been real fun, but it's been interesting. But just my kind of my interactions with the world, being on the mission, being a member of the church, going to school, all that stuff is kind of spurred me on to making this particular show, just because of all the differences that we see, all the um, different trials and tribulations, and um, good things and bad things that I've seen throughout my life, that I mean, it just no one really talks about, and so we wanted to talk about it today.
Couple
Yeah,
follow-up questions for you. Number
yeah.
one, have you ever traveled outside the United States?
See, that's like I have traveled outside of the United States, but it's like I went to Niagara Falls and I went to the Canada side, but that's as far as I've gone. So it's like,
I know part of me is like, got any papers? And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they sent you back. That's about as long as you were
the,
there.
I don't even like. I didn't have like a passport. Like this was,
This is
I was really young.
before 9/11,
That was
probably,
Yeah,
right?
this was before 9/11.
Yeah.
So we went to the Canada side. My dad talked to like the border agent that was there. He said, "Have a nice day." That was it. So again, is different world really.
Yeah, very true. Other follow-up question: are
Yeah.
you currently dating anybody?
Ooh, no.
We gonna work on that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, like I work from home, so this is the most human interaction that I have throughout the day. I mean, I talk to people on the phone, but it's about the same. So no, I work, I go to sleep.
This is better because you get to see my pretty face.
Exactly. There you go.
All
I mean,
right. Well,
what are you gonna do?
yeah. You're gonna go. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna talk about dating advice.
Ooh,
That is
okay.
definitely gonna be a show. I
Honestly, I think I need some dating advice, because there are times when I've had girlfriends, and like several months down the road, I go, "How did we get here? How did
was
how,
there.
how did
Did
I do
Marty
this?"
McFly push that button and make
Yeah,
me go to the future?
I don't know if Marty McFly is the one I need to get dating advice from. He dated his mom for a little while.
Oh, good point.
Like,
Good point.
yeah, he made out with his mom. It's not good.
It's weird. I love that line. I love that line. It's like I'm kissing my brother. You've kissed your brother?
Yeah,
That's like my next thought. Anyways, let me tell everybody a little bit about myself.
absolutely.
My name's Saul. I am also a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and like Ben said, that influences a lot of what I do in life. But honestly, I have hung out with a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds and religions, whether it be Buddhist or Islam or Catholic. I find great people all places of the world where I've been, which is a very small area considering I haven't left the United States. States I've lived in: California, uh, Idaho. I have visited a lot of the West, but outside that, I haven't been many places. But I want to get to know everybody's background, understandings, wherever they may be. So feel free to share those. Other things that I love to cook. So
Hmm. Hmm.
Gruyere is all I'm gonna say. Besides that, I love grilling. I love baking, and it's really sad because like 2 days ago I started a low carb diet. Yeah, I broke that. I broke that before the show though for a moment because I was starting to get like the withdrawal headache a little bit. Like, oh, I feel crappy, and
Dr. Phil was on your lawn.
dude, I straight up was like, I need to get some. So I got a piece of bread. I made like half a peanut butter sandwich. I was like, okay, there's protein here. There's some good fats. I'm gonna be okay. And it went away. I was like, oh my gosh, what day 4 is gonna
To,
be like in 2 days? I don't even know. I know.
Tried to
So
jump out of a moving vehicle to get some bread.
Subway, Jimmy John's, you know.
That's funny.
Um, but yeah, those are kind of my interests. I love football.
Football.
I like
Yep.
talking. I don't like talking about players or stats. I like talking
I'm
about.
bad at it.
I like
Yeah.
talking about strategies and schemes and plays and defensive front, like the actual like super technical playbook stuff. Um, that's
That's good
kind of
because
my
I'm just a
side.
trash talker. You
Yeah,
know,
I am not. I couldn't tell. Like, I have a favorite team. I couldn't tell you who is the roster on my favorite team. No idea right now. But I like to follow certain players because they also, people's character really inspires me. Like, J.J. Watt is one that I follow. You know,
oh, much respect. Absolutely.
I really like him as a person. And Jesus, he's also one that I follow, and not always
Jesus,
to a T or dotting the I, but I try.
we're
Okay.
trying. We're trying to follow Jesus.
Perfection is not the goal. The strive for it
Now, he's not a
is.
football player, but
He's not a
we try to
football.
follow Jesus.
If he played football, what position? Quarterback. Has to be quarterback, right? Like,
Can he be quarterback? Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
a little bit more about me. Yeah, I I have professional goals to, I think, be a CPA is kind of my ultimate goal. Work for myself. Um, yeah, my lifestyle really involves walks because I don't like to run at my weight. A little big, hurts the
I don't like to
knees.
walk at my weight.
I,
Let's be real. I don't leave my house. It's not good.
oh, my knees hurt just thinking about running right now. Um, so yeah, like I'm pretty chill, dude. Yeah, I'm a little bit nerdy, as you can tell from my shirt. Uh, I'm
I like
also
it.
I really miss weightlifting, and it's something that I really plan on getting into.
Hmm.
So
I'm not very good at it. Well, obviously, but uh, but no, I think there's a lot. I like one of the big things that at least with like weight loss and weightlifting and just exercising, there's
mhm,
so many different programs. I think, I mean, at least for me, I don't know where to start.
yeah.
Right?
Well,
It's just like,
one of the things that if you
um,
so Arnold Schwarzenegger has a website. It's called Schwarzenegger.com. Imagine that.
oh,
And
not sponsored,
one
not
of
sponsored.
his, yeah, not at all. I'm just throwing it out there. He has I think it's one of his trainers is writing, and I don't know if he's quoting Arnold or he's speaking for himself, but he basically says, it's all about the where you start is what you can do, because it's always better than what you did the day before. And he was just talking about like spend 15 minutes a day just lifting your own body weight, squatting down, standing up, stretching, lunges, going for a walk, 15 minutes a day, because that's what you are willing to put in.
Hmm.
You're gonna have to excuse the lawnmower as it goes by at my apartment complex. I can see it's picking up on my mic. I'm sorry, everybody.
I was like, it's totally silent for me.
This is true. This is true. This is a low budget production, if anybody's
This
wondering.
is low, man.
But
We're
it's
just having a
out
good
of the
time.
love of the talk. Okay, that's what it's
It's
for.
true. Just the love of shooting the breeze,
Yeah. So we
which
kind
seems
of,
like a futile action. Just
it, but it's fun wasting ammo sometimes. Just throwing that out there.
That's true.
Am I wrong?
Sometimes you just gotta shoot at a tree, Just
Okay, there are those people out there. But what did that tree ever do to you? The tree is the target. Okay, it's target
tree.
practice.
Sometimes, yeah, it's target exactly target practice.
So me and Ben, we have been just discussing all kinds of topics today, but one that we think that we should probably go into is discussing a little bit about the situation that has finally come to a resolution as of today, July 1st. The Chaz or the Chop in Seattle.
So it's done.
Yeah, so as of today, if you were to search Chaz in Google,
Okay.
it police clear Seattle's proposed autonomous zone as of 8 hours ago on the New York Times, and it talked about how today or this morning, it was either this morning or I think it was morning or yesterday, but basically they went in there in their riot gear and they cleared it out. And they told them for a couple of days that we're coming in to clear it out and gave them the opportunity to leave. I think it
Mhm.
actually ended up with about 23 people being arrested.
Jeez.
And most of those were just, you're not listening to the police. They got arrested and they probably got released on their misdemeanor or whatever. But some of them were wielding some weapons. There was a nice
Okay.
picture, good old knife about 5 to 6 inches long. I'm trying to find that picture
Jeez.
again. Yeah, I was like, well, that guy was armed.
Yeah.
Whoever it was armed. But yeah, they went in there and they cleared it up today. It,
Well, I mean, I I'm kind of not surprised. I mean, we can't, or I can't personally say that being armed is a problem just because I believe in the Second Amendment and having guns and different things like that. But it's taking out those arms at the police or at somebody else with the intent to not
yeah,
defend yourself, but to kill them. Like,
I didn't see any report on them actually having it out and wielding it or
okay, that's good.
brandishing is the word I think I'm looking for.
They just happen to have
They
it,
had it on
and
their person,
all right.
but
Well,
it
I
was
can get
concealed.
behind that. Ooh, that's not good. That's
Yeah,
not allowed.
it's on your person and it's concealed. So
Well, I mean, a lot of like the stuff going on in the Jazz, and obviously we'll talk about it in more detail. But I mean, what was it? Four days of four different shootings, and what the last time, the fourth time. So it
yeah,
was a like white SUV that came in, or it was a silver SUV. So I might be mixing up my colors. Came in, shot up Chaz, left, and then the border guards, at least from what's being reported on the news, is that the border guards for Chaz opened fired on a similar looking Jeep
yeah,
and like wounded several, or I think it was wounded one person and killed another. It was like a 16-year-old.
ugh,
I mean, it's not good. I mean, talking about hypocrisy, we're talking about defund the police and how horrible they are killing people. You open fired on a car that might have been similar but was not a part of the incident in any way, and then
yeah,
you let the car in that shot at other people and let them go.
yeah. There's sometimes it, you just gotta be smart about the decisions you make in life. It's one of those things,
Yeah,
and this was not a smart decision in the slightest. So
I mean, I kind of got where they were coming from. They wanted their voices to be heard. They wanted a decision to be made about police brutality, which, by the way, we just want to go on the record now and say police brutality is bad. Period. I mean, there's no one else on the other side of this issue. At least I don't think so.
yeah, that'd be weird.
Yeah.
I don't
Like,
even. That's not even gonna make the discussion topics because we're like, duh.
it's beating up on people just because they're black is bad,
Being up
or just because they're white,
Yeah, being up
or
on
because
people just because you're having a bad day, bad.
like
Like
don't do that.
people have told stories about that too. I'm just like, it's just bad. But there's a whole
Well,
thing we can go into on that. But
yeah,
I
and I would
think,
hold myself to that same standard.
yeah,
I shouldn't do that either.
yeah, nobody should. So they, I feel that I'll call it Chop or Chaz, in I'll
Yeah.
probably intertwine those a little bit. But the Chop you protest because you feel the reason. Well, I guess the question is, why do you feel that you protest? You protest because you're not being heard, and that you need to let others know that this is an important issue that needs to be talked about. So get protest. Well,
Hmm.
there are some like regulations that go with protesting. If you're disturbing the peace, like if you're violating other people's rights and whatnot while you protest, you've stepped outside of a peaceful protest. Like, but people say that for years they haven't been heard, and that
Hmm.
there's a point that if you're not being heard, that you need to resort to a different tone, or in this
Hmm.
case, violence, is what
Hmm.
people were kind of talking about. And I'm thinking to myself, well, we can't go there because that's against the law. Hurting other
Hmm.
people and inciting violence is not what we should be doing. But
Yeah, I think
how do
I
you get heard
yeah.
when you're a politician? You can vote them out, but there's this very small group that push agendas in the legislative and lawmaking groups,
So how do you get your voice heard by these people that make the decisions, pretty much?
and this is why this happened.
Hmm.
Is that they didn't believe there was any other way they were going to get heard, and that's why maybe it was necessary for them to do
Hmm.
this. But I also feel that there's another side to that.
Well, yeah, I think like, when does a protest become a riot? I mean, they took over 6 square blocks. Now, like, I admit, like, the mayor was behind it, the city council of Seattle was behind it. There were a lot of people that were behind it, and I do believe that in certain instances that there were unsavory individuals that took over the message so that they could take over these 6 blocks, pretty much. I mean, I know that there are, at least, again, a lot of the stuff that we learn is based on the news, but there are people that are inside the Chaz that are acting like, small, tiny dictators, or like, street warlords that are handing out weapons to, oh yeah, you're part of the new Chaz police force, so here's an AK. I
But
mean,
they got rid of the police. Why would they want that?
what's the point, right? Or they're talking about, community officers, but community officers with no authority. And so, I mean, according to the police chief, they're and at least according to some of the citizens of Chaz, or I shouldn't say that, some of the citizens of Seattle that are in Chaz, they talk about, that, I mean, it seems like armed soldiers are coming to their businesses and extorting money for them, as a, like, almost as a protection racket. Well, you have to pay to fund the Chaz security force. Or, I mean, there have
And where did
been,
they get that idea?
I movies, I don't know, the internet.
Right? Like, oh, here's the thing that kills me is like, if you if you want those things, like, here's the other thing is you're talking about people that are in this 6 square blocks. If I was living there, I pay taxes. I live in a city. I expect there to be certain services provided to me as I pay my bills and my taxes. For example, water and electricity. And I hope that when I call 911 that a officer or a paramedic or a firefighter shows up, whoever I need is there to
In a
back
timely
me up
manner.
in a timely manner. Well, you not ever. I'm pretty sure there's people within that block area that was like, this is crazy, and they up and left. And did we hear their stories?
That's true. I mean, there are some that we've heard, but I don't. I mean, like, for the vast majority of people, I don't think we. I mean, and I think that just comes down to the news. And I was going to talk about that too. Is, I think, when we talk about voices being heard with Martin Luther King, I mean, I bet you the news cycle was dominated by Martin Luther King and his marches. Now, I'm not saying that, like, he was on TV all the time, just because I don't think that that was a thing. But I bet you in the newspaper they were constantly talking about him, constantly. They weren't talking about how he, destroyed a 6 block area. They weren't talking about how he, um, was rioting and picketing in the streets. They were just talking about him and his message. And I think that's what gets lost in the media. I think that's what's lost in general is the message.
Do you think that
It
his consistency as a activist was extremely important to the progression of civil rights?
I think so. I think if you're just talking about like because I feel like he was a peaceful protester. Now I know that there have been like quotes of him saying different things, um, which confused me, and I would love to hear some people's responses on that. Just talking about that, like rioting is the voice of the oppressed, but it seems like in the very same speech, he talked about how that's a bad idea. So I'd love to hear some thoughts about that. But I mean, overall, he was a peaceful protester, and it was a constant peaceful protest. I mean, he didn't let up. It wasn't like, okay, well, we'll do this one day and then we'll do this, a couple weeks later. It was a
Yeah,
constant.
and it's interesting when you like from what I understand, I could be completely wrong, but from what I
Yeah,
understood is that people would do things that were against the law and were not right, like
yeah,
like based on the law, and they would go to jail for it. And it got to the
hmm
point like the what was it, like sit-ins, right? Like when they go to
yeah.
the restaurant because they're not supposed to be there by law, which isn't the right thing, but
That's not good. Yeah,
they're there and they're breaking the law and they got taken off, and they got taken off in so vast numbers that they just couldn't take them anymore, right?
yeah, hmm
So like there's this like, yeah, I guess that's as peaceful as it gets. You say this is stupid and you put your foot down, but not to the point where you're hurting people. You do strain the political system, and the maybe the actual system that you're a part of, to the point where it's like, okay, we need to talk about this because this is getting out of hand. But people are trying to avoid the bloodshed and things like that, and I think that's kind of like the important part, is that you got to find that equilibrium of what can I do to put a burden on my system to raise my awareness without hurting other people.
Well, I think you can't fight hate with hate, and I think there have been people that have talked about that too. You just can't. I mean, you want to expose the hate, you don't throw more hate at it from the other side. It just gets people defensive.
Yeah,
It just, then they just start, huddling up into their own groups. Well, like you guys are trying to fight against me, so now we're just gonna like huddle up and circle the wagons. And that's not what you wanted to do. You wanted to have an honest, true conversation about an actual problem. But a lot of times, those people that either want power or don't see or don't think that it's going this far or far enough, they hijack it and they take it to a place of hate, which is not where we wanted to go. We're trying to get rid of the hate. That's the whole point.
yeah. We're
So
trying to get past that. We're trying to be civilized about it, and we're trying to I don't know, raise the standard of society as a
right,
whole.
that true. I mean, I don't think we do it by giving kids a 6 block hippie commune, but I mean it is what it is. I guess I don't
I mean, and
like
who's to say it was just kids out there?
true.
Maybe. I mean, who knows? It was like the most of the people out there wearing masks. Most people are wearing masks nowadays. I don't know how to like. I walk up to
Yeah,
somebody. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And they look at me weird. I'm like, you're wearing a mask. Everything's okay. I'm not gonna spit in
yeah,
your face. I'm just saying hi. It's weird. I'm just like, get looked at
yeah.
weird. It is
It's
because
a
I'm not wearing a mask. Currently, right now, I am not. And you want to know why? Because in the the town I live in, we've had a very small number of cases, and the cases have all been people that travel,
yeah.
and everybody else has been staying distant.
hmm
So people don't come to where I live for any other reason than the university I work for. That's it. That's most of it. That's most of it. I won't say all of it, because total inclusive statements are a waste of my breath, because somebody's gonna be like, I can argue that. I'm like, yeah, but what you're missing is that that's not what I intended it to be. So it's not a blanket statement.
Yeah. Well, I think, and again, I think that's like what we were talking about, we're not having serious conversations about it. It's if you don't wear a mask, then you're stupid. Or if you do wear a mask, you're just a, commie, non-freedom loving stooge. Like you just listen to everything the government says. At least that's what I've seen so far. So, should I wear a mask? I mean, sure. Why not? I mean, if I don't wear a mask, I mean, I promise not to cough on anyone. Like really, don't be a douchebag. That's that's the underlying case for everything. Don't be a stooge, right?
Yeah.
And decide, well, oh, because I don't want to be a communist, and communists wear a mask. Well, that's just dumb.
See, and the other thing is, if there was a threat to myself or others, I'd wear it. For example,
Yeah.
when if the university I work for decides to begin classes in fall, that's going to be a lot influx of a lot of travelers. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to start wearing a mask. That's just the way it
Yep.
is. Because to not would be stupid on my part. It would be
Yeah.
very, very disrespectful for my health and for the health of others. It, I mean, what do we just do? Oh yeah, we just brought 20,000 people from all over the nation here.
Everywhere. Yeah.
What should we do? We should probably all cover up. So
Yeah. I obviously I live in Florida. So, and we've seen the cases rise. We've seen the cases fall. Recently, we've seen the cases rise. And so I don't mean like it's a sickness. I don't think it's going away anytime soon. I don't think it's, we're gonna just get out of it. Um, so again, if the county that I live in, if it decides that we need to wear masks, okay, I can wear a mask. That's totally fine. Or if I need to go to the grocery store and they require a mask, that's fine. I can totally wear a mask. It's the actively fighting against it because, well, again, I'm a red-blooded American and communism and all that. It's just, it's just not worth it. I mean, pick the battles here, and I think again it comes down to what we were talking about before. It's your team versus my team, or my team versus your team, and it's the mask wearers and the non-mask wearers, and no one's willing to have a conversation about, okay, well, this is why we wear a mask. And when they do try to have that conversation, they're just talking down to you. Well, I wear this mask and this mask and this mask all day, so you can't wear one mask for 15 minutes. Get wrecked. I mean, it's ludicrous how like the position we as Americans have put ourselves in.
yeah, like at work, for
That we can't
example.
talk.
Yeah, if in work, for example, I have employees that are worried about. Oh well, should we be wearing masks here at work? I'm like, well, we don't need to because we can all stay 6 feet apart. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the work that we do, we're all spread out throughout a building. We're all over the place. We're here in the early morning. We do our work. We don't have to interact with one another. Like we can talk to each other across the room. We got hallways that are big in my building. It's just an environment that allows us to continue to work without, and so those things aren't as necessary. If all of a sudden somebody decides to take off for the weekend and come back, I'm going to be a little bit like, well, you know what? You probably should wear a mask for a little while until, at least a couple weeks have gone by, and then we know, you're good.
Yeah. Well, and I like it was because you gave an explanation though. Like, this is why I want you to wear the mask, not because I said so, not because I'm your boss, but this is an actual legitimate concern. This is why. And like, and how can you say no to that? I mean, you can obviously,
You can, but
but
it's going to
how
make
can you
me,
be?
how do I trust you?
It's gonna make me angry.
You won't like me when I'm angry.
I am a
Yeah.
vengeful, wrathful God. Uh,
I'm a wrathful manager. No, that's not how it's going to go. It's just, it would be a common courtesy. And everybody in the whole room lately, at work, when we start the shift and we talk about it, it's like, yeah, that would be reasonable. I'm like, yeah, I'm not asking for unreasonableness. Like,
yeah.
it is what it is.
And then that's another thing too, because I've really thought about wearing the mask. I don't like wearing the mask. It's not that it restricts my breathing. It's just annoying to have on my face.
Yeah.
But so I don't like that. But Is it considerate for other people? Sure, I totally understand that. Is it, um, I have a lot of family that lives close by that are of the older generation. Would I want to infect them, especially since they're so susceptible to the disease? No. Wear a mask. It helps. Again, I would still wash your hands. Don't cough on people.
Yeah.
You know.
Wipe down your common touch points, and that means your cell phone, okay, and your wallet, and and your car doors and handles. Like those would be your most common places where you will always touch because you're in and out of them, and you're gonna interact with things and come back to them. Like even if you wear gloves, like unless you put gloves on the moment you walk out the door, and then come home, with glove and mask on, and you come home and you lock like come back inside, close the door and lock it. Dispose of your gloves and then sanitize everything you touch with your gloves, which would be like your pocket linings and your wallet and your phone, and your keys, and the door and the door handle.
Just every
Like unless you stop and do that,
hazmat sprays
cross
going down.
somebody with PVC needs to do that and sell it on Etsy. And it needs. Yes, I'm making a joke about this. Deal with it. Come on, it's not
Yeah,
to
I
be.
know. For real.
No,
Come on.
no. But can you like think about it like for a second? Like, can you just imagine that? There's a lot of people selling face masks right now on Etsy. But just
No, it's
let's go
true.
ahead. Let's go ahead and let's get like the whole PVC thing. It goes like around the door, and you hit the Mister button when you walk through, and just boom, done.
Just sprayed you with hand
Little
sanitizer.
little little, little motor pump at like the base. It's battery operated, and like you just push it with your foot. Hands free. Hands free. You open the door. Hands free. Bam.
I feel like you put a lot of thought into this
No,
just in the last
I
couple
just
seconds.
yes. In the last 30 seconds, I put a lot of thought into this
Like, oh, dude, I got this Etsy project.
Etsy project. Anybody can have that. I am not going to go for a patent on
Yeah,
that one.
throw that out there. The spray, the PVC spray rig.
Home mobile sanitation device.
I feel like there's going to be some agoraphobes that are, just really jump on the idea of the home sanitation device.
Yes.
But hey, that's up to you guys.
All right. Well, Ben, I think our time has come to an end today.
Oh man,
I'm sorry. I know. There's other things in life that I have to accomplish.
I get that. I'm kind of hungry.
That's when we decide to end, when we get hungry.
Yeah. When we're hungry. So.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully you joined us. We're hoping to bring more and more content. So look for us. We try to do Facebook. We're going to try to be on Twitch. Anywhere podcasts are, sold, given out for free.
Spotify. We'll try that. We'll try to get on there.
Yeah, we're gonna try to do the best we can to just get our voices out there, and again, just try to have a conversation with people. Just try to figure out what we can do to make the world a better place.
Yeah. If you like what you heard today, like us, follow us, share us. Don't do anything more than that with us. Comment, maybe comment. That'd be good.
I don't know. Listen to us in the car. I don't know. I don't know what else is there after like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah. And we'll see you the next show. We're hoping to put one out July 4th, morning of July 4th. So y'all have a great day.
All right. Peace.